Hi everyone, how's it going? So this is my updated video to my Florida shooting opinion video, and the update is that they did charge the man with manslaughter, and so they'll be holding the trial and everything. And in a little news insert, they said that the autopsy showed that, I'm going to call him Mr. M because I don't know how to pronounce their names correctly, and then Mr. D, so just ahead of time. So Mr. M's the black guy, Mr. D is the white guy, in case you know, whatever. So they said that it showed that Mr. M was walking away from Mr. D when he got shot, and that they were 12 feet apart. Everyone knows he took steps back. That's, you know. Also, there was two people that reported in 2012 that he had threatened them with a gun. That's not going to be admissible in court, so they just threw that in the story to taint people's opinion. I mean, if this guy was threatening to you, then you should have reported him in 2012. And if he actually did it and they had reported him, they'd have something on record, and then he'd have his fate sealed. So they're trying to dig up all this stuff on Mr. D. Well, if Mr. D's character is going to come into question, I'm sure they can bring in Mr. M's character too, and he has a whole long list of felonies and run into the law and breaking the law and things of that nature. So it doesn't look too good for him on that point either. Now, do I stand by my original video opinion? I do, because my opinions were on the convictions that I have, the fact that it was a completely verbal situation. And the moment you escalate a verbal situation into a physical one, everything after that is fair game, and it is. Regardless of why the person started the verbal interaction. Just because someone starts something doesn't mean that you have to take it to the next level. And you know, I didn't get to talk about the girlfriend because a whole lot of information came out when I did my first video. So I'm going to kind of expand a little bit on this one, try and make it short, but at the same time, I want to get this stuff out. So the girlfriend, when he came up to her and started talking to her, now he's a good 2 feet away from her because she could open her door fully and get out. So he wasn't on top of her at all, right? Why don't you just roll up a window? If some dude is yapping at you and you're in a car and she's in a movable vehicle, which means she has options. She's not out being in a corner, she's not cornered, she's in a movable vehicle, so she has options. And he was on the side of the car, so her backing up, she's not gonna hit him backing up. So why don't you just roll up a window for one and quit arguing with him? Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because she saw a frail white dude starting to argue with her. That's why. And because that a lot of black folks, they just like to talk and yap, and they don't really want to see what's going on in the situation. That's just plain fact truth. And if you think that Mr. D was out to kill a black man or a black person, well, then he succeeded. And he succeeded because he knew black people. And what I mean by that? Well, he knew if I could get a black person riled up, if I get them emotional, they're going to lose all sense, and then they're going to do something stupid, and then I can retaliate and call it self-defense. That's knowing your quote-unquote opponent. That's knowing your prey, in a sense. If that's what I'm going off, I don't know if it was his motive. I'm just going off the fact that some people have said he was just out to kill a black person. And so if that's the case, he knew his prey. He knew his prey's habits. He knew his prey's tendencies. And there it is. He found a black dude who, instead of thinking on his feet, just went with his first emotion and it escalated the situation. I know some people have said to me, well, that's what I would have done. And that's the problem. It was a verbal. I keep stressing that. If it had been a physical, if he come out to a physical thing, or he was like touching the car or something, at that point, yes. Because you've touched my property, you're arguing. At that point, yes, to me it's physical, and whatever comes after that is fair game. But it was completely verbal. Raising your finger and pointing at someone, big flipping dude. That's what people do in arguments. I mean, she was yapping back and forth with him. I don't understand why she just didn't say, you know what, roll up her window and ignore the dude. Seriously. Put the car in reverse and go somewhere else. I mean, she could have done that. Second of all, Mr. M could have chosen a better way to handle it. And if you watch the video, which I find interesting, I didn't touch on this the first time because I didn't really realize it, but there's a second black man in the video. And after Mr. M pushes Mr. D to the ground, he starts walking towards them. And he kind of was walking with like a strut, you know, he's trying to get there. who were you going to defend? Or what was your intent on coming to that thing? And then as soon as he saw the gun, he stopped coming and he went between the cars. So I don't think he was there to go help Mr. D. I think he was there to help Mr. M and company. I just find that a little tidbit interesting. You know, like he got out of he fled. He retreated. Mr. M took a couple steps and turned a little bit, and he did it slowly. Slowly in the fact that he didn't think that Mr. D was gonna shoot him. And you watch his girlfriend, you see his girlfriend never moved back from the car. She was on the side there on the bumper. She never moved back when the gun was there. She was still standing yapping at Mr. D. So if she were to be truthful, I bet she was saying, I bet you won't shoot him and all this other stuff, or still yapping. Mr. M was not retreating. He was casually took a steps back. When he got shot, that's retreat. He ran. And you see the other black dude, as soon as he saw the gun, he ran. Now, had Mr. M actually ran when he saw the gun, that would have been retreat, and he was shot him in the back, it would have been clear-cut murder. But a couple steps back, because you see a gun, and you start to turn a little bit, I'm gone. I'm running, ducking, whatever the case may be. Mr. M did none of that stuff with a gun pointed in his face, which means that he didn't think that he would be shot, and he sure as heck didn't think the dude was a threat. And so, all that being said, I do stand by my original opinion, because my original opinion was on the actions of Mr. M, because Mr. D did what he did, but Mr. D was smart enough not to make it physical. He knew the fact that, hey, I got to keep this verbal until someone else makes the move to physical. I can't be that aggressor. See, that's knowing which, if you want to say that he was out to kill a black person, like I said, that's knowing the game. Mr. D knew the game. He knew the fact that, hey, I need to keep this verbal. I got to wait. I got to make them upset enough to get stupid and push me, put my hands on me, whatever the case may be, and then I'm in the clear. I can pull out my gun and shoot them. So maybe it's a lesson learned, maybe it's a lesson to the black community, the fact that maybe we should quit being so emotionally responsive to things and start using our brains too. Because a man who's in control of his emotions and uses his brain would never put his hands on Mr. D, and he'd still be there for his 5-year-old kid. That's how I feel about it. Like I said, this is my update to it. I got some things in I didn't get in the first time, and I know I'll get response on this one too, and I welcome that. It was really good discussions on the first one, so I hope we can continue that. If you like what you heard, saw, please like, share, subscribe. I appreciate that, all of my new subscribers. So until next time, this is the Savvy Ninja.